Welcome to part 13 of my DIY backyard project. If you have missed the previous progress, check them out in the description. If you're planning to build a deck by yourself or even hiring a contractor to do the job, I hope you will find this helpful, and my goal is to inspire more people into DIY. This time we are talking about how to build a privacy screen using Azek PVC and installing the shade sails I bought it from Amazon. This will give your backyard a modern and contemporary look. Framing is not part of this video, check out part 8 for details. Okay, let's get started. Similar to the work I did in the past on the Pergola, I installed the joist tape on the top portion of the privacy screen. This will protect the wood from moisture and your investment will last longer. I am using the two-tone color Azek PVC fascia boards to cover the wood. To make the water drained by gravity and keep the wood dry, this time I am using another method. Yes, galvanized steel washers. This may be more time consuming than the other way I showed you before, but it worked. Hot glue is used to secure them to the board. Check out part 12 for details if you want to understand why spacers are needed. The gap is not as big compared to the 1/4-inch wooden spacers. Next, I am using the jigsaw to cut a piece of board that is going to be placed between the post and the edge of the privacy screen. As you can see here, I am using the 1/4-inch wooden spacers again, because I have to run the cable for the lights as well as mounting the anchor for the shade. Let's take a break from the privacy screen and talk about shade sails. There are many different products on the market. This shade sails company in Canada has very high quality products. The quality is so high that it made me have a second thought if I have good enough structural support or not. If you do more research, all of these professional companies out there will tell you to install the post leaning at 5 to 10 degrees. This is because of the high tension and the wind. Even worse, if you need to attach it to the house, you need to install it on a structural element. In other words, if you have brick veneer like mine, it's gonna be very interesting. So, what is the problem with the professional grade shade sails? Let's take a look. It's too heavy duty for me. Look at the size of the ring, and they run stainless steel cable on the whole shade cloth. The hardware they are using give you an idea on how high the tension will be when you tighten everything up. If I install the system, I am worried that it will damage my pergola and privacy screen. Don't get it wrong, they have very good products, it's just not suitable for me. My solution is simple. I bought this colorful shade sails from Amazon. They are cheap and light duty, which is what I wanted. It's less than $50 Canadian each. I bought 2 of them. They have decent quality. For the price, I am very happy. I also bought a roll of outdoor fabric from Amazon too. It's made by the same company called Coolaroo. The material are different, seems like the roll is stronger than the red color shade sail. At the local hardware store, I found this. Again, it was made by the same company, Coolaroo, but this one feels so plastic. I would definitely avoid this. There are a couple of points that I want to make. Structural support, of course, is the top priority on your list. Next, you may want to do some research on the material. Some shade does not allow water to go through easily. People complained about water sitting on the shade after raining, especially if they installed them flat. The materials ties to the percentage of sun can get through. It's your personal preference, honestly. Now, the other consideration is that, is it easy to take it down and reinstall? After watching some videos, the professional ones doesn't seem to be easy. For mine, it only took me 10 minutes to set it up or take it down. Not bad at all. Of course, everyone has their own budget. The custom-made one can be very expensive. It can go up to $1,000 easily. For your planning, you have to decide if you want to have one shade or two shades. There is a lot of information on the internet. Just Google them. Let me show you how I installed mine. I bought this stainless steel hardware kit from Amazon. It's around $25 Canadian. It's cheap. Of course, it's made in China. Quality is pretty decent though. There is a DIY tips I want to share with you. Since the anchor has 4 holes, when you are drilling it on the brake, do not drill all 4 holes at the same time. You will regret, because they will misalign. You drill one hole and put the first screw on the anchor. Secure it. Next, you drill the second hole using the anchor as the guide. Now, install the second screw and you can drill the holes for the third and the fourth one. Take the first screw out and give some space to install the plastic plugs. Trust me, this is the best way for DIY people to get the professional results. No misalignment. The Coolaroo shade comes with nylon cord. Problem is that they shrink and expand based on the weather. So I am replacing them with steel cables. This is a useful tool I bought a long time ago in a farming supply store. You match it with the size of the sleeve and clamp it down. It's not gonna go anywhere. Next, we are using the bolt cutter to trim the end. If you have good eyes, you may have noticed that I am using the vinyl-coated steel cable, because I could not find the stainless steel one in my local hardware store. To prevent them from rusting, I am cutting some epoxy putty to seal the end. You can, of course, use silicone or hot glue. Now you put the shade up and tighten the turnbuckle. The goal here is to make it as tight as possible. Looking good, I think you got the idea. Because it only takes 10 minutes to set it up, I don't leave the shade out all the time during summer. So I store it in the weatherproof deck box whenever I don't need it. It's very convenient. I even put the leaf blower in there. Let's continue to finish up the privacy screen. Sometimes the 6x6 post can crack and you have to use the hand plane to make it flat. That happened to me. Next, we need some LED lights on the privacy screen to make it more dramatic. I am using a piece of scrap PVC board to do that. If you have good eyes, you may be wondering why the bottom has a darker color. Indeed, I intentionally stained the bottom. I have explained why in the last video. Check it out if you have missed that. There was a problem. I might not have enough boards. I had to save some for the barbecue station. So I had to lay out everything in the garage and solve this problem in a creative way. To save time in measuring, I made a template from the scrap wood. As you can see, I used it to pre-drill the holes. For DIY people, you may want to ask, when should I use brad nails and when should I use screws? For anything that is very light in weight, like this one, I would use brad nails. Remember to use stainless steel or you will regret. Also, for cosmetic reasons, sometimes you don't want to see the screws. Brad nail is a very good choice.
Okay, dude, I am going to inspect your work. Overall, seems like a pretty decent DIY job. I like the design. Let me walk around to see if I can find any problems. The deck is pretty solid. This is a tripping hazard. You need to remove this right away or I will give you a ticket. Work safety is important. Your crash is horrible. Too much weed. Now, this is a good opening at the bottom. This will release some pressure off the privacy screen when there is high wind. I like it. Alright, I will give you a pass.
Continue to work on the last row of the privacy screen. In order to make sure both left and right are level, I had to use the green laser to help me. Quality is very important for DIY job. You cannot easily use a traditional leveling tool to do that. This built a solid case for you to buy a new tool. The back is pretty straightforward. I am using the 1/8 tile spacers just like installing the deck boards. Remember I told you I ran out of boards? This is what I had to do. Yes, different colors. Well, only my neighbors will see that. That's alright. Looking good so far, but there is something missing on the pergola. If you recall what I had in my original design, yes, I had to make the shade for the pergola. That's why I bought the outdoor fabric from Amazon. Now, this is not my expertise. I reached out to my mom for help. I drove to her place and tried to use her sewing machine. I did a test run, a sample, it was good. There was a big problem. My mom doesn't want me to borrow her machine for some odd reasons. So, what do? I bought a new one from Canadian Tire when it was on sale. It was about $150 Canadian. Not too bad at all. Give it a thumbs up if you like my cats. She will perform the famous cat walk. If you love DIY, and you may want to check out other videos on my channel. Remember to subscribe to see the progress of this project. Thanks for watching and see you next time.